Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Sim Racing Alliance. It's season 13. We are starting out tonight strong.
As they do go side by side. It is the formation lap almost done. They will look, all eyes to the lights. That's going to be an amazing start.
And we have a crash in turn 1 already. What's going on?
On to the bus stop straight. Goes for it around the outside.
More contact behind. That is huge. A couple of gainers in that one.
She's given it everything. She has to. I'm not sure that it's over yet, though.
This is the last opportunity.
We're off and away for SRA. Hello, SRA Nation. I hope you packed your cowboy boots and a strong pair of reins because we're saddling up for a wild ride under the glowing lights of Austin. Welcome to round 2 of season 14 in the SRA GT3 Team Series Division 6, coming to you live from the Circuit of the Americas. But, and I won't do an accent, but it ain't just me out here on the frontier. Riding shotgun is my partner in commentary crime, the quick talking, hot lap hunting, and apparently expert Rocket League player, Justin Rosenthal. Howdy, Justin.
Howdy.
So, a rocky start, but we're up and going. How do you feel coming into tonight?
Just like last week, I'm excited for Coda to be over with. It is, we had a little bit of a rough race yesterday, but I'm sure the D6 drivers are going to have a fantastic drive tonight. Competition, looking at how everybody's been practicing this week, has been just as close as it was last week at Indy, so I'm excited to see what tonight brings.
Absolutely. And look, I've been practicing hard on my Texan colloquialism. So they say the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, but forget all of that because it's nighttime here in Austin. The lasers are on, the skylines are lit, and the track is glowing. And Justin, this is our only night race of the season. So with a night race, what exactly are the challenges that our drivers can expect tonight?
You got to make sure that they're braking at those right brake spots. You know, last night it was very difficult following a car in front of you and making sure that you brake where you need to brake, because if you don't, you're going to be way out of your wits and in trouble. Yeah,
no, I agree. Trying to follow traffic is a nightmare. I found that last night. I mean, I was in the thick of it with everything. But yeah, it was certainly not the easiest thing in the world at all. So with that, Justin, let's go ahead and take a look at our track map and see exactly what our drivers are up against tonight. So we're on the Grand Prix layout. It's 2.357 miles of the Texas Freedom, or 3.792 kilometers for those of us that are sensible to use them. It's an anti-clockwise circuit, opposite to our last week at Indianapolis, and it has 20 turns, featuring heavy braking zones, high curbs, wide entries, and some brutally technical sectors. We kick things off with a fan favourite, colloquially named the Big Red, a massive uphill launch into a sharp left-hander. The wide entry invites confidence, but drivers will need to trail brake deep, rotate on the crest, and nail the throttle on exit without cooking the rears too much. Turn 2 is a downhill right-hand sweeper, an easy flat, but it tips the car a little bit off balance just as they enter the infamous S's section, which is inspired by Maggots and Beckett's from Silverstone. It's all about rhythm, precision, and not tipping over the track limits. One bad input and your entire sector is gone. And that leads us through to turn 7, and it's all about setting up the car for a bumpy and awkward chicane. It's easy to lose traction, easy to get pinged, and your car needs to feel planted but light enough on its fleet to get the right rotation. From there, it's a charge down into turn 11, which is maybe the most important corner for lap time. Why? Because it sets up for the monster back straight and leads us to the first big brawl of the lap. Turn 12, tight left-hander at the end of the straight. It's Dive Bomb City, a prime overtaking spot, but only if the driver ahead leaves the door open. Otherwise, it could end in tears really fast. And that takes us into what's called the stadium section, turns 13 and 14. Awkward off-camber right-hand corners where tyres are screaming for grip. But then no rest, you go straight into turn 15. Do you go narrow to defend it, or do you go wide to launch a better drive out into the infamous turn 16 and 18? If you're a fan of Formula 1, you might see shades of Istanbul Park's turn 8 here. It's a triple apex nightmare that GT3s, on the other hand, absolutely hate. Throttle modulation is everything because you need to be perfectly set up for the run into the penultimate turn. Turn 19 is a fast, slight left-hand bend. Track limits here are brutal, but not as bad as the rest of the circuit, I might add. It gives you a bit more of a lenience. But you still got to be brave, still be precise in sticking it, and prepare yourself for a tricky turn 20, a final turn 20, which is a tight off-camber and completely unforgiving final turn that sets you up for the start-finish straight. So, Justin, it's an unusual track, and from what I found in practice, there are 2 golden rules tonight. Go slower than you think and avoid track cuts at all costs. What about you?
Yeah, track cuts are going to be the big thing. Our practice race, and not so much last night for the Division 3 where we were in, but track cuts are going to be the key. If you don't have to take a drive through, that will be a big help.
Yeah, I mean, 30 seconds versus a few tenths, right?
Yeah, track limits are a little wonky on the course, you know, a little bit more than usual, but you know, we'll have to see what they can do.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what we would normally do here is go and take a look at the drivers and the team standings, but we're just going to focus, because it is the GT3 Team Series, we're going to take a look at the team standings, just in the name, because the guys will be coming out for qualifying anytime now. So, Justin, walk us through the Team Series as it shapes up after Indianapolis last week.
Yeah, so we got Charcuterie at number 1 here with Nolan Witt and T Renaissance, and then we got Champion Motorsports, Slippery Shift, and Boatley Busters Racing, the outround of the top 3. A little bit of a gap, but it's still really early in the season, so that top 3 can go either way still. Then we got 4th, we got Pit Stop Posse, and then we got Baseline Keenwood Racing at 5th, Brake Checkers at 6th, Angry Grandma Racing at 7, Elbows Up at 8, Wreckham Race Team at 9, Beans in the Spleen at 10, McLaren McQueen's at 11, Retro Racers at 12, Men at Merc at 13, Pain and Panic at 14, Asphalt Monkeys at 15, Blue Flags Matter Motorsports at 16, Beta Shift at 17, Lightning Race Team at 18, B-O-H-C-I-K.
Bohica Racing?
Bohica Racing? I thought maybe since it was all capitalized, it was like abbreviated, but
I have no idea.
At 19, we had I Heard Factory Racing at 20, Ka-Chow Racing at 21, Juicy Peters Racing at 22, and Awesome Nights at 23.
Well, look, that is excellently done. The guys have just come out now for their practice race, so let's go ahead on... sorry, for their practice race? For the real race. But for qualifying, let's go ahead and join them on track, and we start with Luis Galvez. Manages to get out of the pit lane first and starts himself into what they're talking about, the magnet-inspired SS section. Just comes to the end there. And for those of you that haven't tuned in before, we have 2 different classifications within each division. We have the silver qualifying, and then we have the gold qualifying. The silver qualifying is the first part, that's what we're seeing here, with the likes of Luis Galvez going out first, and they have the first 10 minutes. So they have until the timer hits 10, and at that point they have to get off the track and make room for the gold drivers.
While we are here with Galvez, I would like to point out that he had the 3rd fastest time out of the D6 drivers.
3rd fastest time? Well, that's not bad at all. I wish.
He had a 2:08.6, so wow. Excited to see what he can put up in terms of putting up on the where he's gonna land up on the grid tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's a classic case of I think it's a classic case again of Clayton once again in this practice. He put down a 2:06.5. I'd be happy with a 2:06.5. I'd be over the moon with a 2:06.5. Got a faster that time than you, and not much slower than me. So it's going to be a classic case, as it was last week, of seeing whether or not Clayton can hold it together for the race. I mean, it didn't go his way last time, but you got to think if he can manage to navigate that turn 1 and get through turn 1 as he needs to, then it really opens up for him, and he can really take himself away from the rest of the grid pretty quickly.
I mean, it's not really necessarily the case. You know, last week we said the same thing, and you know, we kind of had a absolute, you know, disaster second half. So
he had a really good end of the race, right? Like, I mean, that was just center. All eyes were on him for the end of the end of that Indianapolis race. Managing to bring it over the line in the pit lane. So I'm sure this time he's going to make sure he crosses the line on the right side of the track this time. But he'll be hoping to do it in first place.
oh, it might have been a little too much there.
So let's go ahead and take a look and see as people are still coming up through their warm-up. So we've still got Luis Galvez. He's the first one in the lead at the moment, coming through for his first hot lap of the race. Fingers crossed, although that is looking tight, and this will be the story of the night. I mean, I recommended to these guys, and I stand by it, that your first lap really has to be your banker lap. It has to be just keep the car on track, within the track limits. Doesn't matter if it's 5 seconds slower than what you normally do, but you just got to get a track time in there at least, you know.
Since the track is so much, you know, bigger than most tracks, you would say, there's not many opportunities during qualifying. You're going to get 2, maybe 3 max, depending on where you came out. Luisi will probably get more.
Oh, so we're just going over to a quick one. There was a yellow flag. See what happened there. I think that's the Ferrari coming up to the big red. Turn 1. And just loses that rear end there completely. Oof. Good job to keep it clear, but that probably disturbed the McLaren. Let's get back on board with Luis. He comes around the final 2, the Turkey-inspired turn 8 at Istanbul Park, I should say, inspired final few corners. Turn 19. So we've got a few more yellow flags as well. We'll try and bring them as they come. Here he comes around the very last corner now. Let's see if he managed to keep it valid. He did not manage to keep it valid.
I didn't think so.
No.
Unfortunate.
So let's go ahead.
That's all right.
Oh, 8-7 T Fletcher. Travis
Let's
Fletcher.
see if anybody else could put up.
There we go.
All right.
He keeps it safe. The 2 minutes 12, pretty much dead on. And you know what? That's a solid first banker lap. So good on him. As we get Hunter Lowe and Brad Bertram both coming over the line as well. So not even necessarily a banker lap there for Travis Fletcher. It seems to have held off the majority of people at the moment. Although Cardboard Smith ruins that, of course, exactly as I just finished the sentence, and he goes over with a 2:10.635. That's a great lap by Cardboard Smith. And he's going even faster. He's had a great turn 1, 0.3 up already.
Yeah, once you find that rhythm here, it's contagious. You just gotta, if you can get a rhythm here and you can not shred the tires up, I mean, you can get some real good pace here.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that, I mean, in qualifying with the sun still up, albeit setting, temperatures are 19, but we're expecting the temperatures to go down to about 16 degrees during the race. And what that means is for a track that is typically demanding of the tyres, especially in SRA where we're quite used to the higher end of the scale in terms of temperatures, but the tyres can be quite forgiving here, I find, although it all depends how you drive, of course, you know, and it depends on how these guys manage it, but tyre management not going to necessarily be the top concern today, all thanks to the temperature. So solid 20 degrees, I think, less than what a day race would be. So, and we also have, I see, Mike Cook has joined us for this one. So he couldn't join us last week, but he's out in the Lexus. He's in the pits in the Lexus. So welcome back, Mike. Good to see you. As Luis Galvez finally gets a lap together and does a 2:10.3. Although, having said that, Cardboard Smith is up 0.6 at the moment on that lap time. 0.7. He is absolutely smashing it at the moment. Needs to tie together these last few corners.
close there.
Yeah, he's getting really close compared to the
Oh.
car. Is that too much? Was
I
that
think
too
that
much?
was
It
too
was.
much.
It was too much. That is absolutely gutting. And yeah, that definitely is too much. So Louis Galvez still maintaining it at the top, and he's up 0.7 already so early in the lap. If he can keep it valid, that's 0.8 as well. He is eating through his lap time here. The rest of the guys are on notice at the moment, as Juicy Jake goes top with a 2:09.9. And I can't believe he just made me say that name. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the grid there. And while we're looking at the rear wing, that's the wrong one. We're on board then with Brandon York, who's up a full second on his previous time, so he's looking at around the 2:12.5 mark at the moment here, which will be enough to bring him up into at least P9.
With that behind them?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. I don't know who it is, but I don't know what they're doing. They can't overtake.
If this
That is
is
one of the
your,
rules in SRA.
Yeah, so if this is your first time here, you cannot overtake and qualify. And to give a nice gap between the car in front of you so that this doesn't happen.
I think that's cardboard. Is that cardboard? 4.7, I think? Yeah, I think it is. It's cardboard Smith at the moment. So you've got to be patient. Let Brandon York, who's up 1.6 seconds at the moment, although lost a little bit of time through that corner. It's a really fast lap time here by Brandon York. As Louis Galvez goes over the line, sets a 2:08.5, which is a stonking lap time for Division 6.
That's a 10th faster than his best of the week.
It's, I mean, what a time to do it, right? In qualifying, if you're going to do it at all. And it looks like Brandon might be the only one still improving here. Everybody else seems to have dropped off or invalidated. So once again, it looks, I mean, the good thing is everybody's done a valid lap, right? Looking by that leaderboard. So that's task one done, as Cardboard Smith goes into the pits to call it quits. And Brandon York comes over the line to put in a 2:12.1. Fantastic. Takes him up to 10th place provisionally.
So we got just in time to be able to get another lap in too.
Absolutely did, as Brandon Bertram, he's at the beginning of his last lap. Just trying to see if anyone else coming towards the end is still valid. 690, that's Akuna Matata. He's currently way down and he calls it quits. So, the 10-minute mark about to pass, and as you see a couple of cars already coming out the pit lane now, we do have Juicy Jake on a lap time improvement, albeit early in the lap. And Brad Bertram still improving as well with a 0.4 improvement at the moment as he goes around. Yeah, I like that. Better than I did it, although it is slower than he did on the last lap. He's starting to lose some time. As we cut away, go to the guys coming out. Let's go back and take a look at Brad Bertram. Apologies about that. Very smoothly done. Still up at the moment.
Get a little bit more over to the side.
Ooh, yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine.
That's fine.
Close. But that's what this track is all about. You've got to extract every little bit that you can whilst avoiding the sausage curves and the ridiculously placed pyramids.
Yeah, total unnecessary part of the design of this track and those random pyramids.
Not a fan. Not a fan. You won't find fans of Kota here, but hey, we're here commentating it and we're watching these guys work their way through it. As Bertram is still up 0.5 at the moment. It's going to be a really handy lap time. If he can tie this together, we'll put him provisionally in second place. Oh no, disaster. And he has lost all of his time, but he does manage to squeeze out 6th place. So let's go ahead. Thomas Kiss is out on lap, but he's currently down 0.3 at the moment. Oh, he disappears. So let's go ahead and look at the front end of the golds as they all come out. This is Zipperburn Sr., father of Zipperburn Jr., would you believe, down in D6 with their lovely bright red livery that you're not going to miss anytime soon, coming around the Istanbul Park inspired turn 16 and 17. And 18. And to begin the start of his hot lap. So the drivers have a really big target to beat. You know, even if you're gold, a 2:08.5 is probably up there, I think, and really set Luis Galvez up for what could be a really successful day for him. Whilst we're watching these guys do that, let's go back and take a look at what happened to car 445. That is, of course, Rohan Devanini with a small accident, I think, coming out of the pit lane. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened with these guys here. So he's just going too slow and gets nudged over the pit. Well, you know, these things happen.
Everyone's excited.
Yeah,
They're trying to get out. Let's go.
Just can't wait to get involved with Kota. So this is Dig Zipperburn coming around then to finish out the big Sector 1 and going into Sector 2. Looks very nice and very smooth at the moment. Let's see if that translates into very fast as well. A quick left-hand kink in before a big braking zone of turn 11, which sets you up for the back straight, which you think, Justin, in Mustang shouldn't be too much.
No, not at all. Mustang, straight lines, vroom.
And it's crazy how much faster they are than the Lexus as well. I mean, maybe it's a skill issue on my part, but it just seems like the Mustang has so much more pace, even the traditionally fast Lexus around here.
I like this though. Taking a look at the track map. Everybody's got a nice spread out. Not a whole lot of bunching. There shouldn't be any issues for anyone.
No, but also you notice there's quite a few invalid cars already. So again, we come back to this whole thing of just getting a banker lap in, saying that, you know, that'll do, and you know, then having a couple of laps then to really push, because that's all you got after this lap. Now you got probably 2 laps, maybe 3 if you're fast enough.
I mean, if you're 152, I mean, you may being all the way back there, you might only get 2 in.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Exactly. So as the gold drivers come over, Cleveland Leatherwood leads the gold drivers out with a 9th place at the moment. That's a lap time of a 2:11. But the silver's still dominating the top. Let's go ahead and go on board there with Cleveland Leatherwood as he looks to be improving on his lap time. As Nolan Witt, who lost out so narrowly last week in what was a nail-biting finish to Mark DC, managing to put in a really good first lap, going straight up into 3rd, closely followed by Dylan Bonsall, who's gone into 4th. So good first laps. Let's see what they can do to improve on that. And indeed, there are people out there on an absolute storm at the moment. We've got Sasha, car number 281, currently up 1.1 seconds. Although I've cursed him, he's had the commentators curse around that corner. He's still up big though, 0.7. And Nolan Witt going even faster as well, but we're going to need a big improvement. Nolan Witt coming in with a 2:09.9. So he needs an improvement of about 1.5 seconds to even start to get close to the likes of Luis Galvez.
Oh, got a little bit wide there.
Yeah,
that's all right. Got next lap.
That's it, yeah. So that's invalidated. So let's go slightly ahead then to Cleveland Leatherwood, who's still on a massive improvement as he goes around Sector 3. Can he keep it all tight? Looking like a 1 second improvement here, which should be enough to go and put him somewhere around the 4th or 5th position.
Very nicely done on the last turn.
Yeah, and that's enough to put him into 4th. That's a great lap by Cleveland Leatherwood there. Absolutely awesome lap. Nolan Witt starting to come through now. Sector 3, he's up 0.3 at the moment. So again, really handy lap time if he can keep that together. That should be enough to put him into second. Although Andrew Hopkins does a handy lap time as well and goes into P5 now as T Resonance right on the backside there of Louis Galvez puts in a 209 flat. So really close now to Louis Galvez. It's all to play for. It looks like Resonance trying to build off the success that he had coming in P3 in Indianapolis.
A huge difference between 1 and 2. I mean, again, we've seen this before.
We've seen it before, and it's not crazy.
Carlos Clayton hasn't had a time down.
No, he hasn't put a time down yet, but he is up massively on his previous invalid lap time, so let's see what he can do. He's up 1.3 at the moment. This would be a stonking lap time if he can keep it all together.
That gap to him in Leatherwood, it looks like in the front, though, maybe an issue.
Yeah, he's good. And he's invalidated. That is a crazy invalidation. That's so unlucky. And now he's got to try and make it through. He's got to give himself enough gap to the cars in front and also make sure he crosses that finish line. He should have plenty of time to do that and go for it again on the next lap. Louis Galvez then with 1 minute 30 to go as the cars come around for what will be on ultimately their final lap. Louis Galvez still holding the top with a 208.572, which is about 0.5 faster than T Resonance in second place. Nolan Witt up 1.1 seconds at the moment. That will be a really handy time. That would take him straight, I think, up into P2 if he can keep it all together. 1.3, it's getting bigger as he comes around these final few corners. Can he eke out a couple more hundredths of a second? A couple more tenths?
Valid too.
He's still valid. He's still valid. 1.2 up at the moment. 1.1 up. 1.2. Oh, and he loses the back end there. What will that do to him? That will still put him second place, but only look at that split time. That is very, very close. That is 0.3033 of a second. So it looks like it's going to be a Resonance and Witt race, to be honest, between the two of them, with Louis Galvez if he can keep up that pace going out front. Let's check in though with Carlos Clayton, who is trying his best again to put down another lap, coming into turn 11. Into the back straight where that bizarre invalidation the last time around. He's got plenty of time to the car in front of Cleveland Leatherwood. As car 825 looks like he has a little bit of a spin. That won't be good for him. He keeps it valid this time from what I can see.
Using all of the track.
He is, as the flag finally waves. That confirms it, with Daniel Beckstead being the first to go over the line and securing 30th place. Still valid, up 1.3 on his previous invalid lap time. Let's see where that will put him if he can improve on it any more. This, of course, somebody who was putting in a 206.5 in qualifying, in practice, I should say. And that is invalid. That is, I think, according to the system, it's invalid. Let's see what happens when Carlos crosses. Yeah, that is invalid. Yeah. Carlos Clayton then setting the practice servers ablaze with his lap times, but just not able to come together and put it together when it mattered in qualifying. So it's not impossible. I started 41st last night, made it all the way up to 15th. So it's certainly still possible to get a decent lap time as Sean Keenan comes over the line and secures himself 11th place. Nolan Witt still out there though. This could potentially, if he holds this together through the final corner, this could potentially be the lap, ladies and gentlemen. And he does, by a good gap as well. What a lap time. What a time to do it. The final lap, all the pressure on him. And he manages to open up a 208.182 and cross the line with it as car 321 comes over the line. And that is the end of qualifying. So stick with us. We're going to go through to our sponsors real quick, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Ready for the race? A huge thank you to our SRA sponsors and title sponsors for supporting us here at SRA, as well as support from Documise, a modern business solution for product management. Go to documise.com to learn more today. And support from Retro Saga, a North American-based gaming company that provides accessories for your favourite classic systems, including Nintendo, Sega, PlayStation, and much more. Enhance your retro gaming experience today at retrosaga.ca. And a big thank you to our affiliates, Track Racer. Experience redefined gaming with Track Racer's high-quality sim rigs and accessories. Use code SRATE at checkout to support us. Armamentario, a toolbox for ACC that will enhance your chance to win. Enjoy a fully customizable and enhanced HUD to change the way you experience ACC. AT 3D Sim Shop. Upgrade your sim racing experience today with premium 3D printed accessories featuring precision crafted magnetic shifters, sleek cable management solutions, versatile stream deck mounts, and immersive dashboard displays. Their innovative designs enhance performance and style, elevate every lap with top-tier quality and craftsmanship at at3d.net. Go Setups, premium esports setups for everybody. Use our affiliate link on our Discord and take your drive to the next level. Castle and Cauldron, a home-based crafting business specialising in handmade Harry Potter, Fantastic Beasts and Fairy World collectibles. Magic wands, potions, mini dioramas, wall decor, costumery, cosplay, and much more. Castle and Cauldron is where crafting meets the magical. Visit facebook.com/Castle Cauldron. And from KP Concepts, your source for custom automotive renderings, graphic design, and printing. We spend countless hours making you look all good for the spectacle. Check out kpconcepts.com for more. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, a classic case again of keeping myself muted, but we're back on board. So we'll continue through the driver lineup. We've got Glenn Jacobs in 8th place. In 9th place, we've got Cleveland Leatherwood for Baseline Red Bull. In 10th place, Rohan Devanini for JP Motorsports. In 11th place, we have Sean Keenan for Red Bull Racing Porsche Blue. I don't know if they have to get a trademark on that. In 12th place in the end, Cardboard Smith for McLaren McQueens. In 13th place, Tim Parkinson for Men at Merck. In 14th, Dick Zipperburn Sr. for Blue Flag Matter Motorsports. In 15th, Cameron Hastings. In 16th, Brad Bertram for Team Brick. In 17th, Mark DC, Boatley Busters Racing. In 18th, Brian Acombe. In 19th, Travis Fletcher, Racing Team Turkey. In 20th, Mike Cook for Rackham Racing Team. In 21st, Justin Muntean for CM Macca. In 22nd, Colin O'Leary for 435 Pit Stop Posse. In 23rd, Thomas Kiss for Beta Shift. In 24th, Brandon York for Pit Stop Posse. In 25th, we have Jeremy Rand for Beta Shift. In 26th, we have Jean May. In 27th, we have Queasy graduate Jordan Dana for Monkey Madness 505. In 28th, we have Matthew Hopkins for Team Panic. In 29th, we have Havoc Garzosi for Blacklist Racing. In 30th, Akuna Matata for OBDA. In 31st, Daniel Beckstead, Retro Racers. In 32nd, we have Hunter Lowe. In 33rd, we have Peter Finpan. In 34th, Max Yang for Men at Merck. In 35th, Gordon Beverly Jr. for Season 9 Liquid Death. And somebody pulled off to the side here, probably with an issue by the looks of it with their hard work, is Carlos Clayton.
Oh, don't get teleported to the pits.
And in 37th, we have Sean Paul for Elbows Up. And that rounds us out nicely, I think, at the moment. Yeah, we've already gone through Dylan, so that works. That is the grid as they line up and come through the last couple of corners. Car 789 has gone back to the pits. That's Carlos Clayton.
It just gets a little worse and worse, but
It's
all right because when they come around to this final turn and they take turn 1, it is a very, very crazy T1. He'll be able to get back out there and catch up with all the traffic that's there. So.
And with that, Justin, it's over to you to take us through the first opening few corners.
Yes, sir. It is just about that time again, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready for round 2 at Circuit of America as the
It's as they go over the line. There's a clue. Oh, it's not. There we go.
Why? Oh no! There's a drive-through to start off.
That's car 989. That's further towards the back. Yeah, 989. But let's take a look at how they go into the first corner.
Oh, Luis Galvez has got a good coming out of it. Make sure everybody's keeping it clean back there through that first one. But Nolan Witt, Luis Galvez, and then Sasha.
There's been a disaster in T1. A disaster in T1. We'll go back and review it.
I'll take a look back at it in a second. But coming through the S's, and again, you know, making sure with all this traffic here, you don't want to get lost and cut any part of the track. In an hour of racing, and you only get to, you know, use 3 of them. But it looks like the leaderboard will reset once we get through the. Oh, and there's Sean Paul. Looked like he got hit by somebody.
Yeah,
oh, and he had the drive-through as well. Oh,
yeah, it's not been a good start to the race. But you know what? Do the drive-through. You with the way that the pack is at the moment. You know, they're all paced up. Get the drive-through done. Get back out. You'll catch up, and you'll still finish in a decent place. You can keep that pace up.
I mean, it looks like there's a couple people straggling from the back, but that's alright as they all come down the back straight now.
That's it. So we've got Louis Galvez leading, Nolan Witt leading, Sasha Dickhouse at the moment. That's your 1, 2, 3. Dylan Bontel makes the move on T-Resonance coming into turn 12. A fantastic effort there as he drives away into the distance.
Yeah, it looks like Luis Galvez has he's got that pace tonight. Already having about a half a second lead away from Nolan Witt.
He certainly does, and Nolan needs to get back up to his normal pace as quickly as humanly possible. And try and challenge as we have Disaster from Brian Acombe is over there on the side, and he's in a mix there with, I think it's Brad Bertram as well. That's a disaster for both drivers. Brad Bertram coming back onto the track. So with the first laps coming over, we've still got Nolan Witt only 0.4 behind, and that is a fast. Oh. Keeps it together. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So while these two hash out, let's see if we can have a quick look at something that happened in turn 1 with car number 23. This is going up into turn 1. We should see what the cause of the... Yeah. Let's take a look and see exactly. Oh, there's just a knock-on accordion effect. People bouncing left, right, and center. Rears and fronts being bumped all over the places. They still managed to get themselves around, and not too bad of a style there for them both. As we have another incident, car 787 and car 23 So that is Justin Muntean we're looking at the moment, car 787. And it looks like Thomas Kiss as well. Now, where is this on the track? I think this is coming down into turn 1. A dive bomb there by Justin Muntean. Thomas Kiss pushed off. You're going to have to think Muntean's going to give that position back.
I would hope so. And that was the better of the two results. Could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. And do you want to see a lot worse? Let's go ahead and see a lot worse. As that is, I believe, Garzosi finding their way onto the S's, or finding their way off the S's, I should say.
Gotta be careful getting back on.
Oh, that's somebody else. So it looks like he wasn't the only one that suffered there. That looks like Justin Muntean, if I know the liveries. But having said that, with all the start drama that there was, everyone seems pretty close together, especially here at the front where Nolan Witt is still putting on the pressure. Looks all very close behind. He gets a much better exit, turn in and much better exit. Looks down the inside. Galvez has nothing doing. And now it's just a straight deadlock heat up to the front, to the beginning again of turn 1.
That draft might be able to so
He
flash it
looked
a little bit.
He looked at it. Let him know he's there, but that does force Galvez to go into a more narrow angle. Doesn't get the optimum exit, which means Nolan Witt will have the chance to come back a bit going into the S's. So looking in the comments, we have Mason Hall supporting there. A wheel malfunction for Clay, he's telling us. Matt in the comments saying, let's go Leatherwood. Justin Rosen thoughts. Let's go Jordan. I wonder who that could be.
We didn't figure that one out. Mystery.
An absolute mystery. As Nolan Witt is really up behind now. He looks like he's going for the dive. As he comes back, thinks better of it, and forces Galvez to go on the inside.
Do what I did yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a pyramid. That's
Did
a
what
pyramid.
you did. Did what you did. And loses ultimately the position there to Sasha Dickhouse. So now you've got Angry Grandma Gaming occupying position 1 and position 2. This has been a fantastic few laps for the team, and this can only spell good things if they can keep it together. Let's go back and have a look. There was an incident between car 665 and car 139. That's Sean Keenan. Oh, a late dive down there into that. What is that, turn 1 again? Oh no, that is almost a replica of what happened at turn 11 with the front of the grid. A little bit of contact made. I mean, people are brave tonight. People are brave tonight as we have another accident. Oh my goodness, D6. Let's keep it together, guys. Come on. This as we go around a very difficult sector here. The beginning of sector 3 loses under braking, and that is T resonance on Dylan Bonsall there, making the pass. I assume he's going to give that position back. As further back, we've got another incident. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened to car 704. Is it coming deep into the braking there? Goes off, goes over the bumpy stuff. Occupies that inside. You're going to need to brake earlier, sir. You're going to need to brake earlier than that. And that is the end of that. Yeah, and you've got to find a way to safely rejoin. Watch all those cars go past you. It's not a good look. It's not great. As the pack starts to separate a bit with people making some opportunistic dives. Nolan Witt now all over the backside now of Sasha Dickhouse. Now, if your teammate says these two are, do team orders come into it, Justin? I know if it was you and me, I'd be saying to you, or you saying to me, hold them off as much as humanly possible.
I was going to say, if it was last night, I'd be like, you're going to pass me.
There is no holding off. Sasha Dickhouse goes wide into T1, and the pressure is back on, though. He gets a great exit compared to Nolan Witt.
Yeah, and that speed of the Porsche is just,
Yeah,
it's not happening.
Although Nolan Witt is going to have a great drag now because I got it wrong. It wasn't turn 1, it was turn 11. Here they come down into a big braking zone. Nolan Witt looking down the inside. Can he hold it together this time? Forcing Sasha to go wide there, and he does make the corner. So we're back to where we began then with P1 and P2. Nolan Witt chasing down Louis Galvez at the front as we go ahead and take a look at something that happened a little further back with car 665 and car 139. 665 being Sean Keenan again. Maybe a little bit of revenge as they come down here into turn 11. It looks like it. Sean Keenan going for the big dive down the inside. Quickly runs out of room, and that is a big accident, but manages to straighten him out, and off they go as if nothing ever happened.
You know, as much as the contact has been, I mean, everybody's just kind of helped each other straighten each other out. There hasn't been any huge loss. As I say that, I'm sure somebody...
Oh, 909.
909,
Yeah.
I'm
Let's
sure
go and
is
take a look.
sideways now because, you know, commenting is cursed, yeah.
That's Matthew Hopkins of the Hopkins family. Let's see what happens here. It seems like unaided, an unforced error goes over the pyramid, and that is GG's.
Oh, no.
Now, Justin, we were talking about race pace and how important that was. What if I told you that Carlos Clayton is from the back of the grid now, all the way up to 21st place? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened because there's also a pit in there somewhere as well. Not a full pit because it's still, as you can see.
We started from the pits.
Oh, of course you did. Yes, you're right. You're right.
So you had that little bit of pit time, you know, coming out.
Yeah. No, you're quite right. As Nolan Witt makes the pass, let's go back and take a quick look and see what happened there, if I can be quick enough. So Nolan Witt coming up. This is coming up to turn 11. Nolan Witt close up the backside there of Louis Galvez. Looks down the inside. Louis Galvez tries a little bit of movement, but Nolan calls his bluff and just takes that position, going into the back straight there. And looks to have held it by the time the replay is over. So that is through turn 12 and turn 13 and 14 now. So ball is in Louis Galvez's court. As we have...
Gotta be careful now to not take out your teammate in this situation.
You certainly do.
You're both going... Oh. Incidental spin again?
Yeah. It looks like it. Going through the S's. Oh no, that is not what you want to see. It's definitely aided.
Oh.
No contact though. That's the good thing. No contact. Do you want to see some contact though? 939 in car 139. So let's have a look. That's Dick Zipperburn Senior with Tim Parkinson behind. Sorry. No, who's that? Cameron Hastings. No, it's not. It's all messed up. Looks to do an under and over, but there is no room at the in on that apex. I think he's probably going to find he had to give him a little bit of space there. I think that was... yeah, that was Cameron Hastings. But Nolan Witt maintains the lead at the moment. We're through already 12 minutes of action-packed racing here with D6. Nolan Witt taking the lead eventually from Louis Galvez, with his teammate Sasha Dickhouse in third place. Fourth place, we have Dylan Bonsall, and rounding out the top five, we have, I believe it, did he tell us last week it was Todd Resonance? I think it was, right? Todd?
I believe so. That does sound correct.
So the guys are already really up to pace. I mean, Carlos Clayton is smashing it at the moment, setting a new lap time, a new fastest lap time of a 2:08.6. And to put that into comparison, the leaders are only doing a 2:10, so he's currently about 1.5 seconds faster than the leaders at the moment. So this man is on an absolute mission, already overtaken Jordan Dana, now up into 20th place. And this man is on a tear. Got 5 seconds to make up on Brandon Yorker ahead of him though, so a bit of time by himself. He's currently up again another 0.8, 0.7 at the moment. If you can keep that tied and keep it together. What I will say, Justin, looking on the timing boards here, there are a lot of track invalidations at the moment. So let's go ahead and see what happens, because I think at the moment we could be looking at a few drive-throughs, making the racing even more mixed up. If you're Clayton at the moment, you've got to try and keep it on the track, because again, you could be earning yourself some big points here. When we get about the halfway point is when I'd expect people to start making these mistakes and using up all 3 lives of their track cuts. But let's go ahead and see what they can do. Fingers crossed for better than that, but we will see. It is, of course, Kota.
It is. I wish we could see what cut everybody is on.
Yeah, I agree.
But
I agree.
That's what makes it a little bit more interesting, is that you find out just as much as we all find out.
You certainly do. And again, looking at the top 2, there's not a lot to split these guys. Galvez and Nolan Ware, I think this is going to be the theme of the night, assuming there's no disasters between the two. These guys pushing each other. Galvez hanging in there by 0.5 of a second at the moment. The last time they crossed over one of the timing boards. Another tight battle we've got at the moment is Max Yang. So Max didn't have... Oh, as that is Jordan Dana eating all of the curb and with a rather beaten up back end by the looks of it. As well as it go into the S's.
With some of the slamming from the beginning of the race.
Yeah, I think so. When you get to that position, it's not easy. It's not easy. Let's go ahead and take another look at another incident that happened on lap 6 between car 909 and car 690. So car 909, then we're following him going through the difficult part of sector 3. This is Matthew Hopkins. So again, already had a spin before, goes wide as somebody... Oh. What has happened there? What has happened there? Somebody... So that was... Oh, 960. We have another accident. There's no time to rest. This between car 138 and car number 23. That's Thomas Kiss again. That's Jordan Dana going through. Garzosi looking to try and make something happen as well. Goes down... I think makes it cleanly.
I didn't see any contact. Yeah, no,
oh, there's your contact.
Here though.
And that's a huge contact. That's a huge impact. We shouldn't laugh, Garzosi. That is so unlucky, but that's going to have to be a return to pit case, I would have thought.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I hope his hands are okay too.
Sasha Dickhouse really under pressure here by T Resonance. Oh, is there more contact there? This time, this is Carlos Clayton. Sorry, Brandon York, not Carlos Clayton. Having a bit of a rough time coming out of there. And that does move, I think, Carlos Clayton up to 19th. It certainly does. 0.9 of a second now behind Cameron Hastings. Here we go on board then with Cameron Hastings to see what he can do. A bit of a wonky exit. Oh, there is racing all over. This is Dylan Bonsall now. Trying to get himself... He's up into T3, so these three are having an absolute battle, and they are just passing. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We need to slow this down a little bit. There is battling all over as Divanini makes the move on Hopkins. And we have another accident, this time between car 281 and car 411. That is at the front. That is Sasha Dickhouse and T Resonance. Let's see what happens. Oh, okay. So both run wide. Yeah. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's Robbins Racing. Nothing to worry about too much there. Maybe a little bit of bodywork damage, but nothing too big. As Divanini looks to go down the inside, going into turn 12 here, thinks better of it, and probably a good decision. Gets a great turn in there. Definitely makes up some positions. As Sasha Dickhouse has yellow flags. What has happened here? Car 411 and 281. Let's go back and see the replay. So that's T Resonance again with Sasha Dickhouse. So it looks like Sasha runs really wide there. Cuts it off, going into a really tricky technical
might have just
turn.
braked it too early. Yeah.
Oh, and that is unfortunate for Todd Resonance there. That's not going to be a good look for the stewards. Certainly not. As we have even 28141. No, that's the one we've just viewed. So there's not been anything that's happened in the meantime, at least. So. Oh my goodness, all of that means there has been some sort of a movement there between Louis Galvez and Nolan Wick, because Louis dropped back to 2 seconds behind Nolan now. But right down here we have Andrew Hopkins trying to make the move on a war-wounded Sasha Dickhouse.
Now I wonder how much of that incident's going to
Oh
affect.
my goodness, Thomas
look at
Kiss
this.
going miles off there. What has happened between Jordan Dana and Thomas Kiss? Let's go back and take a look. Jordan Dana not giving much room on the apex, but that's still fine. Thomas Kiss going out wide, Jordan keeping it narrow, and of course...
A little bit of contact.
Yeah, that's a difficult one, and then contact again.
Oh, well.
Oh,
Yeah, he just
well...
loses at that point.
That's difficult between the two there, because I mean the narrow angle, but then you'd probably argue that maybe Jordan Dana should have slowed down more to give Kiss the outside, but I don't know. Let's go on board with Colin O'Leary, who's right on the backside of Tim Parkinson now, as they really bunch up there. And we have our first drive-through. That's Cameron Hastings with the drive-through car in position 19. So already used up 4 of his speed tokens. That's devastating for Cameron.
Yeah, just about 20 minutes in, and I already got a lot of track cuts, and it's going to be a long night of racing.
Yeah, I mean, it's to be expected as we watch Colin O'Leary really putting the pressure on there. Tim Parkinson, let's see what he can do going into this technical start of Sector 3.
Makes it out nice and clean. This sector's
the
been a
most
lot
important
harder
thing.
for everybody a little bit, you know, coming in too fast with the car in front of you, you tend to lock up and then you end up hitting the back of them, but
Yeah, there's
very
been
good
a
by
lot
him.
of struggling. We go back on board, talking of struggling here with Matthew Hopkins, who is not being treated very nicely at all by Kota tonight. And let's see what happens. We've got a yellow flag. I think, yeah, he just gets out of the way. He says, you guys carry on. Don't let me get in your way.
I mean, Glenn Jacobs here's got a whole lot of room.
Yeah, Glenn
mean,
Jacobs got
honestly,
a whole lot of room.
I mean, honestly, you know, as early as it is in this race, you know, when you have that kind of air and you're not fighting cars, your tires are not getting absolutely destroyed in that situation. So you may be able to stay out longer and get more track time or track positioning.
So that's Cameron Hastings making the move there, and Brandon York going into turn 1, just seemingly having the raw speed there. Brandon York settling in now to the S's, struggling a little bit with the exit. And as we talk about struggling, we go to one of the other Hopkins, this of course being Andrew Hopkins for Team Payne, who is close with Sasha Dickhouse behind him, and this is of course a battle for P7. As they come around looking quite disciplined at the moment. We've still got plenty of racing. We got Cardboard Smith only 0.4 seconds behind Rohan Devanini, and we've got Cleveland Leatherwood only half a second behind Cardboard Smith as well. So these three really going at it, and 3 really fast drivers who put up some really competitive lap times in the qualifying.
I would like to point out a comment in the chat. It seems like Sean Paul is through in here and explaining about how he got a DSQ for position on start.
A disqualification?
I mean, maybe he was talking about having the drive-through.
He had a
Possibly.
drive-through, but not a DSQ. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Unless he voluntarily
know-
disqualified himself, but it was certainly a drive-through. I remember that much.
The race start sometimes with ACC can be a little bit wonky. Mr. Quizzier has learned that the hard way from his first season here.
I certainly did, yeah.
SRA.
On the race that shall not be talked about. Briefly moving on then. Diggs of Mancini's 0.3 seconds behind Cleveland Leatherwood. They're going at it as they come into the S's. We have got some ridiculous racing on our hands. D6 is not failing to deliver with all the overtakes, all the incidents, and everything you need to see going around a race like COTA. What more do you want to do as Riley Greer said on a Wednesday night, other than watch this division tackling some of the toughest tracks in the game. So we have car 139 has cleared their drive-through. So that was, remind me, that was Cameron Hastings, I believe. Yeah, Cameron Hastings clearing the drive-through as Travis Fletcher finds himself facing the wrong way. And that is in a strange place as well. So I'm not sure what happened there, but let's go ahead and look at what's happened between car 939. So this is towards the front. This is Dick Zipperburn Sr. and car 435, which is Colin O'Leary. A big dive then by Colin O'Leary, trying to go down the inside, and we said in the track warm-up that this would be dive bomb central, and it has not disappointed tonight. These drivers need to start being a lot more patient with what they're doing. His car 224 himself also has an accident. That's Peter Pan coming out of the S's. Oh, there's a car facing the wrong way on the racing line, and that's what caused it. I don't know what car that was, but oh, you hate to see it. I think I know what happened with Sean DePaul. I think what happened is he got his drive through at the beginning of the race, Justin, and I think he's carried on past the 3-lap limit and ended himself with a DSQ.
That could do that.
That's what would have happened, yeah.
Gotta make sure that you serve it within 3 laps.
3 laps. As we see, last week's winner, Mark DC, coming in for his pit. This being the sort of maybe slightly early, but certainly the beginning of the pit window, you'd think. The majority of, well, pretty much first through 26 are still yet to pit, or at least are in the pits now. So as Thomas Kiss runs a little bit wide there, I think that's Thomas Kiss, is it? Or is that,
I believe here at Coda, the undercut is the way to go. Last night I was able to do get a gain of call position using it.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a lot of, you know, free air and not as much traffic, so we'll see.
So this and another incident, this time between Tim Parkinson and I believe Gordon Beverly. Tim Parkinson running a little bit wide there. Does he collect it? Yeah, you know what's happened there? Oh, no. What's happened there is, you know, your weight distribution is so off that you're in the middle of a turn, your traction's less, and we've got another drive-through. That's Cameron Smith now with a drive-through. And you know what? That's speeding in the pit lane. That's not even for track warnings, as Mike Cook has a spin. Let's go ahead and see what happened to Mike Cook. A big charge down braking with all of his might there. And ultimately just a low speed, low traction spin, I'd say. Put on the accelerator a bit too early, given how it was, its steering angle was at, and caused himself a spin. So what would have been our de facto leader before, you know, our provisional leader with regards to those who have pitted would be Cameron Smith, but it's back to Clayton, who's worked himself up into 21st. As that's Jeremy Ran, I think. I think that was Jeremy Ran going wide. Might have been. I think so. Zipperburn Senior. No, Justin, what's happened?
Speeding in the pit lane.
Oh, Jeremy Ran. Where are you going? Okay, he's collected himself. He's had a think about it. He's going to work himself on slowly.
He's just making sure that everybody gets by, get in there safely.
Galvez closing up the gap. We haven't talked about the two front runners, Nolan Witt and Galvez, who at most have been separated by about 2 seconds, but look at the gap that they have opened up on T Resonance and Juicy Jake and Dylan Bonsall in a 3-way fight to claim the podium. Resonance up where he was last race. That's Cameron Hastings getting a bit close.
Yeah, a little bump.
Makes the pass though. As we go on board with Matthew Hopkins then of the Hopkins Bros. Let's see what goes on.
Gotta be careful.
That's going to be a cut. Unless he manages to get away with a no-time gain. No, he does not. That is a drive-through for Matthew Hopkins. Caught in 4K. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry to see that, Matt. But as I said, the halfway point, this is where the drive-throughs are going to start coming through as Gordon Beverly Sr. gets out of the way then of these guys. Oh, does he? Oh, that's close there behind for Dylan Bonsall. It is an absolute melee of lapped cars and front of the grid cars. It's a recipe for disaster if these guys don't navigate it properly. And we love to hearing from our guest Squeezy fan club checking in. Thank you as always. I'm just in B. I love you, SRA. Always fantastic broadcast. Keep it up. Thank you very much. And Riley Greer confirming, of course. Squeezy nailing it as he always does. And Operator Neo, gotta hype him up. He's my older brother after all. Shake and bake. Common Witt, go bowling, go bowling. There is a call for blood here between Nolan Witt and Louis Galvez. Let's go ahead and take a look at these guys because they're at the front sweating it all out. Let's get some front of the grid action as Louis Galvez drops back to about a second now on Nolan Witt, but that is nothing as car 939 clears their drive through. There is yellow flags at the back of the grid, but we're going to stick with Louis Galvez and Nolan Witt for the time being as they go on this long run down into turn 12 where you're going to... Is he too far back? I mean, for a sensible dive bomb, yes, he's too far back. For a D6 dive bomb, baby, bring it, shake and bake, as we've said. Let's go. Go for it, Galvez. Of course, don't do that. Don't listen to Queasy. It's never a good idea to listen to Queasy.
We're trying to keep this as close as possible.
Dylan Bonsall then all over the backside of Juicy Jake as they're coming down the long back straight.
You might be able to get
Is he going to do it? Go on, do it, Dylan. Do it. Oh, no dive bomb. We don't get what we wanted. As car 909 also clears their penalty. So that brings then Clayton still holds the fastest lap of the race and brings him up into 18th place. This has been a fantastic drive. You know, all the way back from as far as P40. I mean, to be up in 18th, it almost beats my performance last night, so fair play to him. Right, so let's go back and have a look. What have we got? We've got Rohan Devanini making contact with Carlos Clayton. This is disaster, but Clayton seems to come away from it okay. Let's go back and take a quick look and see what happened. I think, is this a T1 dive bomb? I think it must be coming out of the pits. Let's go to the helicam, the triple stint helicam. Oh, now that's interesting because they're teammates.
I was going to say, that is
they're teammates. Yeah, that's going to be an awkward team debrief after that. It's got to be said. Also, I think he came way out of the pit lane box, so that's probably a penalty waiting for car 445, I think, at least, around the Vanini. So as more people then come through the pit lane, it only remains that first through 10th are the last ones to do their pits. They're too engrossed in the action, although Andrew Hopkins and Colin O'Leary both dived into the pits. And we'll start to see some sort of... that's Nolan Witt trying to get through a back marker, I believe.
Yeah, it's just...
Something's happened to Louis Galvez again, though, because he is 4.7 seconds down. Let's see if anything pops up on the highlights reel. Nothing. So no yellow flag. As Jordan Dana finds himself into an incident. I believe this is with Thomas Kiss. Jordan Dana trying to do the over and under move on Thomas Kiss. Coming round then into a tricky turn 11. Thomas Kiss taking the outside. Jordan Dana... now stuck on the outside, kind of moving across. There's nothing much there as they're going over the start finish line. That's nothing. That's rubbing and racing. We're happy with that. No need to review that one. But something we might need to look at is car 333. That's Mark DC, last week's race winner, fighting against who is that against? I'm trying to see now. That's car. That is Rohan Devanini. Oh no, Rohan! What has happened there? A lot of cars really struggling to brake in traffic at the moment, and that is costing some people a lot of lap time. As Louis Galvez has gone into the pit, so Louis Galvez choosing to go for the undercut option Will that work? And now you've got to ask yourself, if you're Nolan Witt, are you going to think about getting into the pits? Personally, I would dive straight into those pits at the end of this lap, but we'll have to keep an eye on it and see what he decides to do by the end. As Todd Resonance also comes into the pits as well in 3rd place.
Yeah,
Dylan Bonsall staying out.
2, 3, and 4 just all came into the pit at the same exact time, so...
Mark DC right up behind then. Colin O'Leary trying to make something happen after the last little bit of contact that they had, coming through into turn 10 and through down now to turn 11. Oh, as they all really close up on one another. Justin, we're past the halfway mark. We've got 26 minutes left to go. You know, sum it up for us so far. What have you witnessed with these D6 drivers?
We've seen a lot of dive bombs. We've seen a lot of good battles on different parts of the track. You know, it's been an eventful race.
It's certainly been an eventful race.
What it honestly is going to come down to is whether or not this pit from Witt that, you know, you may see right here, you know, do you hit your box correctly? Do you get a drive through? You know, you want to make sure that this pit is going to be a make or break of whether or not you'll be coming back out in 1st.
That's right, and a really good lap time by...
Here he goes. Oh, he's coming way too fast.
No, I think he made it. Oh, it's like Rohan Devanini finding themselves on the wrong side of turn 20. No, I think Nolan Witt was fine there. I think he was fine. But he goes into the pit box. This has to be perfect for him. Let's just see if he goes straight up onto the... I think he has. Yeah, he must have. So let's go on board with Louis Galvez then, making their way down the back straight into turn 12. Doesn't have much in the way of traffic, but he does still have some damage on the front of his car, so he obviously didn't get anything fixed. I'm struggling to think where that damage came from as well.
Not a long pit box either, so I mean, you got to make sure that you get all the way around.
You really do, but this I think is not... Is it racing for position? I guess it must be, but... You've got to be absolutely screaming at the whoever that is ahead of him. Is that Garzozzi?
Yeah, it's Garzozzi. Yep. I mean, you're not required to give it up until one lap. So
absolutely not. And as Nolan Witt comes out the pit lane, where does that put him?
Yeah, it's gonna put him on the top. I mean, they're gonna be coming out.
Yeah, he's way in the lead. So that is the undercut has not worked there for Louis Galvez at all.
I mean, you got to imagine he got held up.
Yeah, but 10 seconds? I mean, the pit was a lot shorter in total. I mean, Louis Galvez was 38 seconds stopped, and Nolan Witt was 33 seconds. So that's where the majority of that time's coming from.
I mean, that means Galvez is positioning. Well, he came out ahead of Bonso.
He certainly did, and you know what's crazy? I mean, is that accurate? That can't be accurate, surely. So let's have a look at... No, Resonance 18 seconds behind Louis Galvez. I was going to say 60 seconds? As we have a new fastest lap by none other than Carlos Clayton, who, with all the dust settled, and in fact somebody in the pits as well, finds himself up to P9 at the moment. It says 10 on the list, but he will get past, and he has got past Brian Aker. And there we go, into 9th place. So this has been a last to first challenge by Colin Clayton. He's still got 22 minutes left on, and he's got a gap that isn't insurmountable. We're talking about 30 seconds.
And if the times that he's been putting in are pretty much the way that he's driving right now, I mean, it's very, very, very doable. I mean, look at him just go.
And I mean, to give this context to our viewers at the moment, Carlos Clayton, he's putting in a 2077, which is probably the right sort of pace for the top of D4, Division 4, maybe even the back end of Division 3. So he's really found his groove here at Circuit of the Americas. All he's got to do now is keep away from his teammate and keep away from trouble.
Yeah, I mean, if in his head, it's just make sure you're not, put yourself in a position where you can't, get a track cut and be like, all right, just one incident.
Exactly.
You don't want to sacrifice the cleanness to gain those positions. Because I mean, if you get that drive through, you go from 9th to, I mean, you're probably dropping down to like 17.
Yeah, it's not going well at all. It wouldn't be a good job at all if you did that. But in terms of positions, it's 27 positions gained by Carlos Clayton. The next biggest gainer is Colin O'Leary, up 10 positions, and Daniel Beckstead as well, from 31st up to 21st. So it's been fantastic for him. Another good drive again by Jordan Dana, who he qualified P27 and is currently still 27th. So a good handy lap time there, race so far for him as well. I think even to maintain your position, and there's a few people that have, Glenn Jacobs being one of them, one of the ones that we're watching now, just narrowly ahead of Carlos Clayton for the time being. To even still stay level is still a great achievement. Even if you haven't gained anything, you're still doing well, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I mean, there's still 20 minutes, and there's still incidents that can happen. There's still track cuts that could lead to drive-throughs. I mean, there's a lot that could happen in that 20-minute mark.
There certainly is, as Mike Cook looked, I thought, to go down the inside, but in the end keeps it smart. Changed over from the Lexus. I think he was in the McLaren last season, which was his debut season. Switch it up to the Lexus for this season. Chasing down Cameron Smith. Let's keep an eye on him and see what he can do, as Carlos Clayton as well as all over the backside of Glenn Jacobs, as they are about to go into a big dive zone into turn 12. Dive bomb central, as it's been known tonight. Let's see if Carlos goes for the move. He's got to try and get past him as quickly as possible if he wants this to be a first to last challenge. It's car 924. Oh, there's been a disaster. Let's go back and take a look and see what's happened. Car 924. We're talking about Hunter Lowe, who had a fantastic race last race, will be a little bit unlucky. He's lost it big time. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And it's so easy to do with that change in elevation. That slight little bump there, and I think somebody else has gone off in the same place with him. I thought there was contact, but there obviously wasn't. Mike Cook making the move then on Cardboard Smith. Can he make it stick? I think he does, as we go on board with Colin O'Leary, trying to make his way past last week's race winner, Mark DC, who's had a bit more of a tame race this evening. He hasn't found his way anywhere near the front of Kota, but you know what? It's a long season. He's already got a race win under his belt. He just has to keep it in a good position. So that's all he needs to do at this point. Let's see. Go on, Justin.
I was going to say, coming from someone who only got one top 5 finish and was able to capture the silver championship, I mean, consistency is key.
Exactly, consistency is key. Keeping it on the track, not getting assassinated.
Defense, though.
Great defense. So we do have an accident car 924. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what happened there. 924 is, of course, Hunter Lowe again. It looks like I might have given him the commentator's curse chat. Oh, he's been pushed way wide. Yeah, you got to leave some room on the exit there for him. He's not had any such room. Good guy Thomas and Operator Neo all in team Nolan Witt at the moment, who's still maintaining that lead position. Oh, as we come through here, Mark DC really under pressure from Colin O'Leary. Good defensive action there. Good defensive action.
Nice.
They both run wide, although he's still on the track. What does Mark DC do here? He maintains his position. Colin O'Leary filling in behind him. And the problem for Colin O'Leary is that Audi is not going to get the better of that Bentley going down the straights. So he's got to find a way past him in one of the corners. Could this be the corner? Turn 12. He's getting even closer in the drag. He does make the late lunge. Can he hold it together? He's going to have to brake earlier and tighter. He does. What a fantastic overtake.
No problem. No problem.
Expert analysis. Justin is available for any live real-world racing events as well.
I mean, it's interesting, right? When you're coming down that back straight, you're not thinking the Bentley is gonna get, you know, beat like that. And Mark.
Going a bit wide there, Mike DC. Maybe struggling already with tyres? I think probably not, but I tell you who is making a charge now as Nolan Witt gets held up in traffic behind Beverly Jr. There doesn't have to move out the way, according to, though he can't defend, that's for sure. Nolan Witt trying, look at that Mustang, you just can't touch it. Gordon Beverly Jr. having to remember he cannot defend his position if he's being lapped. He cannot defend his position, but he seems to have done a defensive job there, holding up Nolan Witt, leaving the way as he gets out the way. Does he? Yes.
Oh,
no.
Maybe
no.
Not. Oh, please.
Oh no.
Oh, please.
No.
Oh.
Mr. Senior, please get out of the way. You can't do that in SRA. Nolan Witt looking to go down the inside with a better of the aerodynamics between the two cars. What's going to happen here, though? Oh, he's gone. Yeah. There's no way that Mustang was stopping going into that corner at that angle. As Nolan Witt finally clears the traffic, but what damage has that done? I'll tell you what damage. Originally 7.3 seconds before all of that. Now the gap is down to 5.7 seconds. So somebody check Galvez's bank account after this, because there might be some money paid out to Gordon Beverly Sr.
Yeah, he just pulls away now.
Oh yeah, he's gone. Yeah, 100%. See you later. It's really good as well. I mean, look at the team, for example. You got Nolan Witt in first. You got Todd Resonance in third. I mean, this is a great showing for his team. Galvez with the Angry Grandma Porsches did start out strong, but where is his teammate? So Sasha Dickhouse has gone all the way down to 8th place behind Colin Clayton, who's up to 7th now. And really, only let's watch as they all come over the time here. He's not far behind the overall lead at all. I'd say probably a little bit too far maybe for a first to last challenge, but we've seen crazier things here at SRA.
Man, just a little bit less than 15 minutes left, and I mean, making it to a podium position seems more of a reasonable finishing to Clayton. I don't know if getting the first is going to happen.
No,
I mean, even a podium in this situation is beyond.
Oh, it's beyond crazy. Yeah, 100%. But it's definitely possible with his pace that he's had. I mean, look at that gap now. We're talking about 11. We're talking about probably, we're talking about 15 seconds off the podium. If Clayton can really tie together these last 13 minutes here, that is not impossible at all. It's steep, but it's not impossible. And to put that into context as well, let's look at what Resonance has been doing in terms of lap times. His last lap time was a 2:09.4, and Carlos Clayton's was a 2:08.9. So still cutting 0.5 of a second off of third place in that last lap. So it is all to play for now. And really, if you're Resonance, you're gonna have to pick it up a little bit. As car 139 finds himself facing the wrong way. Let's go back and take a look at that. That is Cameron Hastings.
Victim of the pyramid.
Oh, yeah. Got a little bit of air. Nice. I rate that.
10 out of 10 spin.
10 spin. As Cardboard Smith is right up behind Mike Cook now. Mike Cook previously passing Cardboard Smith, but it looks like Cardboard's found a little pace now, at least to put pressure onto Mike Cook, who himself is only 1.8 seconds off of Rohan Devanini, so still all to play for here between the two, or between the three. Oh, two drive-through. Oh no, one drive-through for car number 435. That is Colin O'Leary.
Must have gotten on the last corner and going too
That
wide.
is, yeah, and that's going to be painful for him as well. We're just going to see Devanini going over the so he's going to drop. It's about a 40-second drive-through, I'd say, 39 seconds. So we're talking what? Oh, that's going to be painful. Maybe 20th place, maybe 21st.
Yeah, you're gonna go further down. And what really stinks too is that it happened in the last corner. So you not only did you have it, you know, you lost your lap too. Instead of having 3 laps, you got two immediately.
Yeah, and that's the gotcha there. As it's Glenn Jacobs all over the back there of Sasha Dickhouse, makes a pass down the inside. Can he make it stick now? Sasha Dickhouse turning in. Is he going to get down the inside? No, he's not. He's going to favour the inside going into the next corner, but there's no overlap. So that is all for Glenn Jacobs to do. Good job by Glenn Jacobs for 8th place.
Yeah, eat a little bit of the pyramid too. Didn't change much trajectory coming out.
It's a Lexus, isn't it? You could probably eat it.
I mean, we drive the Astons and we still we don't need.
It's not the same. You know what I like most about D6, and you know, this is no slight there to Zipperburn Senior, but I'm glad the Ford Mustangs are not running away with it as they have been in pretty much all the top of the rest of the divisions. The D6 is still the tried and tested method of putting your racing skills first and not relying on the pace of the car. As evidenced by Nolan Witt and Resonance up in 1st and 2nd place in the Lambo, which is a traditionally tricky car to drive.
Yeah, not a lot of Lambos.
Not a lot of Lambos, for a reason. As Travis Fletcher tries to make some moves here on Matthew Hopkins, up ahead of him. Matthew Hopkins coming on the back of what has been quite a messy race for him. But still trying to make something work of it. And you know what? I salute you, sir. I salute you. Brother up there doing pretty well as well. Or was up there doing pretty... Oh, he is, yeah. He's up into 7th place. So that's a good time for Team Hopkins, or Team Payne. So let's take a look back and check in with our midfield master of Carlos Clayton, up into 6th place now, 3.7 or 3.1 seconds off of Dylan Bonsall, cutting away at that time every single lap with 10 minutes to go as 435 clears a drive through, but car 909, which is 909, who is that? That is going to be Matthew Hopkins. I've cursed it. I've done it, chat. I've cursed him. Gets another drive-through. Or is it another, or is it the first? As Brandon York is off the track. And let's Dick Zipperburn Senior go up to 21st place. So there's a little bit of spacing coming out between the grids now. There's still a little bit of a train with Rohan Devanini, Cardboard Smith, Mike Cook, Tim Parkinson. But that is about it in terms of the train. Travis Fletcher still hot on the tail of Matthew Hopkins, so you won't really be having to worry about making a pass now on Matthew. Just has to wait for him to go through and do his pit stop, or his drive-through. Nolan Witt still in P1, trying to work his way through some of the traffic. Oh, that is a dramatic dive off of there. What has happened? Car 924. Who was that? That was Hunter Lowe just getting out of the way. Now, does he lose it through here, or does he just overestimate? I think he loses it. I think he loses it.
Either that, or he was just trying to move a little bit more into the inside to let Witt pass, but
oh, Glenn Jacobs, no! Sorry to cut you off, but that is a drive-through. Oh, mate, he's done so well. Wait, hang on. Did we know that? We knew that, right?
Jacobs,
am I going crazy? Jacobs?
That was
O'Leary, yeah. He goes into 17.
From 17, so yeah, he didn't, not that far back down.
No, so Glenn Jacobs
but
now
I mean,
with a drive-through.
This is the time where, I mean, if you're on that 3rd warning already, I would be doing everything that you can to not have to move. Or put yourself in a position where you're going to cut the track and get that 4th one.
No, yeah, exactly. You've got to take it safe. I mean, if you're Nolan Witt now, again, we don't know how many track cuts these drivers are on, but if you're Nolan Witt and you're on 2 or 3, it's time to just, you know, rely on that 8.2 second gap that he's currently got to Louis Galvez. But on the opposite side of that is Louis Galvez now, who has to try and make and you know, put a bit of pressure on himself and on Nolan Witt by putting in some competitive lap times. He's down 8.3 now, just hasn't been able to get it together since the second half of the lap. I wonder if he remembered to change his tyre pressures, because if he didn't, that's going to start being a bit of a pain. So Cardboard Smith seemingly overtaking Mike Cook now and putting the pressure back onto Rohan Divanini right up behind him as they come through turn 12, making up loads of time into a very technical corner as Glenn Jacobs goes into the pits to try us beginning serving his drive-through. Oh, that's a big gain there by Cardboard Smith on Rohan Divanini. What can he make of it though? Goes and chooses the wider angle. That means he's going to get a great run out for the fast right-handers, the triple apex right-hander.
And Clayton moves up to 5th.
Playing up to 5th.
He's moving.
He's moving. So what is that now to the car ahead? 9.6 seconds to Juicy Jake up ahead. You got to think that's pretty much that for Carlos Clayton. But I mean, pretty much that. He has made up a remarkable race of 31 positions in this race, you know, a fantastic effort. And Sean Keenan also notices in the pits, so that's not great for Sean. Don't like to see that, that's unfortunate. Somebody we haven't seen a lot of track time to as we go into the last 5 minutes of this race is Brian Acomb and Daniel Beckstead and Justin Muntean. These guys in the middle of the pack just keeping it quiet, doing what they need to do. As we have quite a big accident, I think involving Jordan Dana. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happens here. So that's Jordan Dana behind him, Garzosi, I believe, as well. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay. But you know what? Not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. They all carry on. They all carry on. So we're into the last 5 minutes. We're into the last 4 minutes, really. Nolan Witt with an 8.7 second gap there on Louis Galvez, who in turn has a 21 second gap on Resonance. These front two have just absolutely taken it away from the rest of the grid. Juicy Jake in 4th place. Carlos Clayton in 5th place with a massive drive there, as we have an issue down here with Sasha Dickhouse. Let's go and see what happened there. Why did we get a yellow flag, or was it a phantom yellow flag? I think it was. Yeah. Andrew Hopkins rounding out 6th place with Dylan Bonsall, keen to get that position back from him, although going a bit wide there, and I believe him going invalid to that. Whether it was a track cut or a no track time gained, I don't know. Trying to get that position back off of Andrew Hopkins with Sasha Dickhouse in 8th place, Cleveland Leatherwood in 9th, and Mark DC in 10th. So it looks as though Brandon York is still ahead of Jordan Dana. So this is the battle then for 25th place. Garzosi takes a look up the inside, thinks better of it, as there is just an amalgamation of cars as we go through turn 11 there. This has the potential to get a little bit messy.
I mean, if one person decides to go and try to dive bomb here, oh.
This is Mike Cook with another incident on the board. What has happened here with Mike? I believe is that Colin O'Leary, car 139 behind him? No, it's not Colin O'Leary. I don't know who Colin 139 is. Goes down the inside, nevertheless. A little bit of a brush off, forcing Mike over the sausages. But
oh, there it is. All over the place.
This is busy.
I mean, for the last 2 minutes, I mean, this is this is make or break time for everybody right here in this little pack. Oh, for those of you, I mean, you're gonna have a little bit of a. Oh.
So the battle that we have at the moment is Jordan Dana on the car. Oh, as Garzosi exits right off of stage, comes back on. Okay, right. Well, that's not the end of the world. But we have Jeremy Rand leading the small pack of Jordan Dana, 0.5 seconds behind. We have Havoc Garzosi, as we saw, and then we have Brandon York behind him as Jordan Dana makes the move down the inside. That's Jeremy Rand going wide in the end there on the corner. Probably, oh my goodness, as Matthew Hopkins almost causes a disaster. Now, oh, that's going to be a track cut, but is it going to punish Jordan Dana? There's a lot of flashing going on there. I'm not sure who that is. I'm trying to work out who that is. Jordan letting him pass in the end. Oh, that's Clayton. That's who that is. That's Clayton.
Oh. I mean, again, though, we got to make sure that we are aware that, you don't have to move out of the way.
No. You can flash all you want, but the rules are you don't have to get out of the way. You're right.
As long as you're not defending, it is okay for you to hold the line. They have to make that pass.
Exactly. There's a car at the back there that decides to run a little bit wide. I'm not sure who that was.
Oh, you have a yellow flag, though, back in the S's.
We certainly do. That is Cameron Hastings, I believe. Let's go on board and check. He's just facing the wrong way. Not quite the S's, though. This is actually in Sector 3, at the beginning of Sector 3.
Oh.
So that is now the leader going on to the final lap. Nolan Witt. Justin, you've seen Nolan Witt. You've seen Louis Galvez. You've seen Carlos Clayton going through. And you've seen Division 6 tackle what is probably one of the trickiest tracks, or the trickier tracks on the grid. Sum it up for us then as we watch Nolan go through his last lap. What have you thought? What have we seen here tonight?
Stewards are going to have a very interesting time for the first half of the race. The last 30 minutes have been very, very good racing. A lot of good battles. Clayton, I have no idea what to say, man. This has been a phenomenal drive across the board. Maybe another extra 10 minutes or so, you may have been able to kept that pace and made it a podium. Oh.
We've got an incident between Jordan Dana and Garzosi behind him, I believe. Let's have a look and see what happens, just as Nolan Witt still comes around his track. So this is going into the last turn. Garzosi with an overlap ends up hitting Jordan Dana. Dana keeping it together though, and Garzosi sticking him behind him as well. I think as well, car 281, that is Sasha Dickhouse, I think has underfueled the car. By the looks of it, he's underfueled the car, and it's devastating. There he is pulling off, and I can only imagine that's what's happened as well to Cameron Hastings.
Yeah, it's definitely unfortunate when that happens.
It is, and especially when, you've got people like Nolan Witt and Louis Galvez going so much faster. What ends up happening is more laps end up getting done than what you might account for with your own lap times, and that is the reason why you end up running so quickly out of fuel. We do have an accident further back in the track, but Justin, over to you as Nolan Witt comes around this final corner.
And Nolan Witt's going to come out and take this, and congrats to Nolan Witt, man. It's been a fantastic drive. Oh, I was going to say a little slippery. And Luis Galvez coming across second, as well as a beautiful drive. And team residents coming around a little bit further. But again, plenty of space between him and Juicy Jake. And that will round out your top three as long as he keeps it on the track.
I'd tell you where there isn't a lot of space. I'd tell you where there isn't a lot of space is Carlos Clayton and Juicy Jake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Loses traction for Juicy Jake. What happens here? Going...
Just say, keep it clean, gentlemen.
Yeah, he holds that position. Juicy didn't want to give it up, but, well, Clayton not happy about the situation as we go a little bit further back. This is Andrew Hopkins, Dylan Bonsall.
Yeah, there's a close battle right here as well.
We'll try and keep it all together. Oh, it is all happening.
Little bit of a
People not
pyramid.
wanting to give it up. Hopkins beats into the line. Hopkins claiming P6 after all. Dylan Bonsall P7 losing out at the end there. Let's take a look at still who's back out on track. This is Brad Bertram fighting them for 25th. Well, not really fighting. He's passing a lapped car for 25th place. Comes over the line. A fantastic race then by Brad Bertram. And Max Yang, who had a bit of a better race than it seems. Certainly not as much on the camera as it has been between everybody else, as Max Yang comes around. He does have front end damage though. We'll go back and have a look as well actually and see what happened with these incidents, because there was a few of them. So this is car 623, car 63 being Mike Cook, and let's see what happens with Mike here as well. So we're coming into the final corner. Goes for the dive on Max Yang.
Oh.
And pushes him off. Yeah. Mike Cook in the end taking 15th place as he goes over the line just now. That's 15th for him. And that is the track pretty much done and dusted, ladies and gentlemen. There's another couple of incidents. We'll go back and take a look at them as we round this all off. This is Daniel Beckstead making the move. Oh.
Very nice.
As we have to go back. So let's cut back into the intermission screen. Justin, take a breath. I need to take a breath. What an awesome race.
Awesome race, yeah. I coming all the way down to the wire for a couple of those top 10 positions, and you know, not as many drive-throughs as I thought it would have been. I mean, there was only really a handful for track limits. You know, we had a couple of drive-throughs for speeding in the pit, but in terms of cuts and track limits, not a lot.
No, exactly. Just as I'm trying to herd the drivers ready for the driver brief. Let's go ahead and take a look at who we can drag in already as they start to fill up the driver debrief. Let's go ahead and try and find them. There we go. We're going to start by bringing in residents who, once again, after a P3 finish at Indianapolis, finds himself back into P3 again. Todd, we dragged you into the commentary box for the second week in a row. Your second P3, my friend. You know, you're on a roll here, keeping it consistent. What a race.
I don't think he's in here.
Well, that's awkward. Where did I drag him to? I've sent him somewhere else. I think he is in here, right?
No, I don't see him.
Where have I? Uh-oh. Let's try that one again. As soon as I dragged you into the right commentators brief now.
Yeah. Nice.
I hope you had fun commentating in D2 for a brief second, but look, P3 after last week, P3 this week, you're keeping it consistent. A great result for you and Nolan there. How did it go? Talk us through it.
It was really cool that I was doing good laps, but it came after I killed like my competitors, man. There was really early on, I spun out, I think 2 people, just with rough, came into the turn and felt like they were going slow, so I broke all the way down and just let my car coast, and then not hitting the brakes afterwards. Felt real bad spinning out deck house. And then I think later on I do basically the exact same thing to Bonsall and felt awful about it.
Look, this isn't the confession box, okay? You don't have to admit it. What the stewards don't see can't hurt them. So you did nothing wrong. You got to maintain you did nothing wrong.
I'm changing my T meaning to third. I think
third resident.
Pretty well.
yeah, I like it. But yeah, no, mate, awesome. I mean, you weren't too confident. If I remember last week, you weren't too confident about Kota. Did you get much time to practice Kota this week?
I mean, I probably put in, I want to say like maybe 3 hours worth of
3 hours?
practice into it. Yeah.
That's not bad
Oh,
at all then.
Let me take a look. Oh, maybe a little bit more than that, because there's maybe not actually, because the orientation race for this stuff was on Kota, so I probably had like an hour and a half, maybe 2, and I have 6 hours total on it, so maybe like 4 hours of
That's
practice.
still decent going, mate.
Or
That
no,
is still
wait, because
decent
we're just
going.
on it for an hour. I'm crazy. 3 hours. I was right.
3 hours. 3 hours. That's still a cracking result. Me and Justin is slaving away all week trying to get a time on the board and a decent time on the board, and you go ahead and put it in P3 after only 3 hours of practice. So that's awesome. Well, look, you had the chance last week to give people a shout out. Have you got anyone else to give a shout out to on the back of your rousing victory?
Yeah, last time there was quite a few people that were offended when I said literally no one. So let me start with a couple. Right?
Okay, go ahead.
First,
Floor is yours.
teammate Nolan, the 2 Hopkins brothers as well, the 3rd Hopkins brother who has been watching the streams after our first week. My wife watched the stream after
Oh,
as
you
well,
didn't
and
shout
was
your
really
wife
upset.
out. Oh, no.
I just blanked on the spot, complete mind fog. I've got another friend who will remain unnamed for now because he might be joining us here. He races with a wheel. He plays on his PlayStation, so he might come over and do some Assetto later on. So
Nice.
he can be a surprise guest later on.
Nice.
And then my dog and cats, I guess.
Your dog and
everyone.
cats.
I think
We do
under the
have
blanket this time.
in the YouTube comments, we do have Operator Neo saying, "Hey, WTF, what about me?"
Oh, and Rowan, my bad. He is Nolan's brother.
Right. There you go.
So that is cool that he was watching too.
You're going to have to, with all these podiums, you're going to have to start keeping a list, and just distribute the shout outs out accordingly, Long may it continue.
I'll have it as a start to finish, and who knows? From now to then, my parents might have seen it and get upset that I didn't say nothing. There's some people around.
Yeah, a chaplain maybe as well. I don't know, like somebody that.
I don't know.
Any teachers?
Nothing like that. The teachers, none of them deserve that either.
God, no.
No, nothing like that. Everyone else is cool.
Everyone else is cool. Good. Well, look,
if God sends me a quick email like, "Hey man, you left me out," then I'll reach him next time.
If we hear the lightning strikes in the background at the end of this interview, then we'll know you're in trouble. But look, awesome job again, mate. Great to see you again. Long may it continue. Hopefully, we see you in a P2 or a P1 next weekend. But I'm going to let you go back to the driver's brief now. And
one more quick call out is
please,
all the people racing on a controller like myself.
Hey, you're in good company.
They say you got 2 controller drivers with you right here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
The master race. But yeah, good job, man. Good job, and we'll put you back into the other one. And best of luck with those tickets as well. But remember, you go down with a fight. Yeah, you appeal everything.
Yes, sir.
Good lad. Good lad. Take it easy, mate. Goodbye. There we go. Another controller driver adding to the ranks there, Justin. Just as we're looking to get off the controller, we feel like we're leaving. We started something that we're leaving them behind now. So let's try and find Louis Galvez. Let's see if he is still in the chat. Let's have a look. I don't think I see him. Let's have a look at any of the other chats. Louis Galvez, where are you? This is your time. I don't see him there. I don't think we're going to get a time with Louis Galvez, which is gutting. We'd love to see that. But you know what, Louis? You're just going to have to do it all again next week. And who was it that we had in first place? It was none other than Nolan Witt. So let's try and drag across Nolan, who I'm sure, again, if the chat's anything to go by, has quite a few shout-outs to make. And also, let's try and make sure I drag him into the right chat this time.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the important part.
Nolan Witt, congratulations. Justin, I'm sure you got loads of questions to ask him. You go ahead and talk to the race winner and let him get all of those shout outs that you need to get done.
Nolan, are you with
Howdy,
us?
guys. Yep.
Howdy. Congrats. What a drive. Thank you. Really, the first question from on my end is, how were the track limits for you? What number were you on?
I was on 0, surprising.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
And the practice race Monday had 3 in the 30 minutes, and I think I kind of was like, okay, gotta settle down, not do that in the real race.
That's perfect. Yeah. Yeah. How'd it feel out there? I mean, it looked like you were a little tense there in the beginning, the first 15 minutes with Team Porsche over there trying to make sure you didn't have a podium, but it looks like all said and done. I mean, you drove away with it at the end.
Yeah, Galvez definitely seemed really fast. He even caught me right just before he pit. It seemed like he caught right up behind me. It was definitely a little worrisome, and I think even Dickhouse was a little bit in front at the beginning of the race. You know, taking it easy, had cold tires, got to be careful. But kept it clean, you know.
You
Yeah,
kept it clean,
surely
Nolan. That's the important thing.
Any shout outs today?
All right, last time I didn't, so I got a couple this time. Shout out to my brother my brother Rowan, and shout out to my cat Boo, who didn't jump on my desk during the middle of the race and get in the way. She wanted some attention, but she stayed out of the way and let me finish my race. And shout out to the Hopkins brothers. There's actually 3 of them, but 2 of them are racing with us. They're some longtime friends. And shout out to my teammate Resonance, who finished 3rd.
And I think as well, just to make sure Randy isn't left out, you're going to have to give Randy Todd a shout out.
Oh, yep.
As well.
Shout out to Randy as well. Yep, for sure.
There we go. Well, that's awesome. Look, I'm so glad for you, Nolan. You missed out on P1 last week by, what was it, 0.2 of a second. This week, you're standing on the top podium. The question is really, what are you going to do next week? How are you feeling going into Snetterton, of all places, with the American contingent or North American contingent, as you are, coming over to my backyard?
Don't have a single lap on Snetterton yet. Definitely a little worried. Gotta get some laps down.
Well, if the last 2 weeks are anything to go off of, I think you're going to be absolutely fine. So Nolan, I'm going to let you go back to the debrief, get some of the juicy gossip. I love sitting in those debriefs and seeing what happened during the race and seeing what I missed. Looks like Louis wanted to do an interview, so I tell you what, Nolan, you can give a shout out to Louis Galvez if you want, who finished 2nd.
Oh yeah,
couldn't do an
shout
interview.
out to Galvez. He was so good.
There you go.
He was really competitive. Him this race, DC last race, it's been really fun and competitive at the top.
That's awesome. And Rogue Gaming, I think the 3rd Hopkins brother that doesn't race, getting excited in the chat for getting a 2nd shout out in a row as well. So yeah, that's awesome, good, guys. Yeah, so Nolan, I'll let you get back. Congratulations once again. I can't wait to see, and we can't wait to see what you come up with in Snetterton. But for now, go and rest, go and enjoy your victory, go and have a beer or whatever it is you want to do. And we give your cat a few strokes and a few treats and whatnot. And we will catch up with you next week.
All right, thanks guys.
Thank you, man. Take care. Oh, in fact, let me put you back in the right place. Oh, he's already done it. That's what I like, efficiency. Cool. So, Justin.
Snetterton, yeah.
Snetterton, that's it. Round 1 and round 2 done now on the board. We'll chalk it up. We're going to start giving you some provisional championship positions after this week. Obviously, it doesn't make much sense while there's still quite a lot of movement going through, but it looks to me, after the tight race that we had in Division 6 last season between Matt Moon and Anthony Lombardo, with it all coming down to the last lap, it looks like it's going to be no different this season as well. We've got Louis Galvez, we've got Nolan Witt, we've got T Resonance. If he keeps it consistent, is definitely going to keep himself in the top spot. We've got people like Mark DC, didn't have a bad race tonight, finished 9th. That's enough off of the back of a race win last week. So the championship is going to start tightening up, especially as we go into Snetterton, especially as we go into more well-known circuits like Spa, Red Bull Ring, Barcelona. But the one that could mix it all up is Hungaroring in a few weeks' time, in about a month's time. But for now, next week, that's the 16th of April. That is also my birthday, ladies and gentlemen. We will have, sorry, let me check that as well, because is that the 17th or is that, no, Wednesday, 16th. That's right. It is the 16th for us. Join us back here, 9 p.m. US Eastern Time, 2 a.m. if you're crazy like me and you live in the UK or Europe or, you know, UK and you want to watch it, 3 a.m. in Europe, and whatever time it is on the West Coast, I have no idea. That's the extent of my knowledge. But from me, Jay Queasy, and from my, as I said, partner in Western crimes and Western reference crimes, Justin Rosenthal, that is us for Sim Racing Alliance. And from Division 6, have a great night. Thank you so much for tuning in and can't wait to see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.